He still believes. He didn't say it out loud. The identity of the person who stole our words. But he also has his reasons. Feng, however, completely disregarded his struggles. Unexpectedly said, "I must report to the leader. Expel him from the sect." This made Lu Qingyuan. It's really hard to accept. At this moment Feng Xiao was seen, being affected by the Sanaming golden elixir mirror. Grinding and polishing leads to skill. Lu Qingyuan couldn't express it in his heart. Ultimately, I hope Feng Xiao can escape. Still can't break free. Without a doubt. Luo Feng successfully escaped. So, Lu Qingyuan returned to the mountain shortly after. I'm afraid I'm about to be expelled from the sect. But as I watched the wind lessen, it is for the safety of others. And leave behind a broken roar. This made Lu Qingyuan. There's really no way to expect Feng Xiao to lose. Han Bian noticed. Lu Qingyuan with a complex expression. I couldn't help but ask my junior sister, "What are you still standing there for? Brother Feng is putting in all his effort. Give us time. You better hurry and run." At this moment, two people in the Sanaming grinding repair struggled to hold on. After Feng Xiao's wave of attack, not retreating but advancing, surrounded by Feng Xiao on the left and right. It's an urgent attack. At the same time, Chong Sanaming shouted during the repair, "We caught him. You go take care of the others." Dai Sanming Mo nodded, chased after the other disciples. Han Bian saw this, without great surprise. He clenched his teeth tightly. Chong shouted at the others, "Hurry back to the mountain. Bokol Master and Uncle Master. I'll block him here." But before Han Bian could make a move, Lu Qingyuan pulled him back. I shouted, "I'll block him. You run." "But you." "Here I alone possess innate strength. Even if I can't win, he can also block him for a while. Senior sister, you can't stop him. Just leave it to me." Then, before Han Bian could react, Lu Qingyuan then headed towards. Then it rushed over. Mo Zhu flew over. At this moment Lu Qingyuan's heart. There is only one thought. That is to prove to Zhang Fengshao I am not the calamity of the sect. So when he left, carrying an unstoppable momentum, Han Bian looked at her junior sister, like a moth to a flame. General momentum. A flicker of hesitation crossed her face, but then became resolute. He shouted at the others, "Let's hurry and leave. Quick." At this moment, Han Baiyan couldn't help but feel hatred rise within her. Why is my level of understanding so low? Over there, Lu Qingyuan held a long sword. Approaching the enemy, he swung his sword at the opponent. The sound of laughter. "Little girl, you are very brave. A mere realm of innate potential. You dare to stop me? Aren't you afraid I will take you down?" Lu Qingyuan's face was like frost. He said coldly, "Stop talking nonsense. If you want to pursue my senior brother or sister, get through this hurdle first." Before the words even left his mouth, he began to unleash the Tewei sect sword technique. Attack with full force. Lu Qingyuan is very clear. Your realm is one layer below the other. Under normal circumstances, no matter what, neither of them is a match for the other. But at this moment, he felt a lump in his heart. This tone. He himself can't explain it clearly. It was the wind whistle that gave it to him. It's still this magic. It was given to him by Feng Ziu. In summary, his only thought right now, it's a fight to the death with the other party. Therefore, Lu Qingyuan's sudden offensive this round. It is almost completely disregarding caution. That stance. It's simply a mutual destruction. The demon cultivator didn't expect that. This young and beautiful woman looks charming. The fighting is surprisingly fierce. It was truly surprising. But he is, after all, at the peak of the golden course stage. Time for cultivation, more than I can count compared to Lu Qingyuan, incredibly rich in combat experience, except at the very beginning. Aside from being flustered by Lu Qingyuan's attack, he quickly steadied his footing. The confrontation with Lu Qingyuan begins. In this way, Lu Qingyuan used the slight advantage gained from his desperate efforts, instantly vanished without a trace. In just a short time, thus the appearance still exists. As soon as the demon cultivator stood, he gained the upper hand. The mouth immediately became foul-mouthed. He played as if it were a game, fighting with Lu Qingyuan, let out a lewd chuckle. He clicked his tongue in admiration. "Little girl, I didn't expect your skills to be so mediocre. She is indeed quite beautiful. Why don't you stop being so hypocritical? Let's go to the Blood-Love Gate together. I promise. From now on I will make you happy every day. Let you be so infatuated that you forget your homeland." The foul words of the demonic cultivator, continuously rushing into the ears, let Lu Qingyuan couldn't help but speak up. "If you're going to fight, then fight. Why so much nonsense?" The demon cultivator burst into laughter. "Is the little girl shy because of what I said? However, the desires of men and women. What is wrong with it? This joy is delightful, as long as you achieve it once. I guarantee you won't want to do anything else in the future." Lu Qingyuan had never seen such a beautiful person. For a moment it was hard to cope. In a moment of helplessness, simply chose to ignore it completely, no matter what the other person says. He only focused on demonstrating his insight, fully entangle the opponent. Meanwhile, the wind whistle already has 1 against 2. The momentum is on top of the enemy, but family knows their own matters. The super ocean sword technique is indeed incredibly powerful, but the consumption of true energy is also quite severe. Therefore, if not necessary, the wind whistle will not be used. However, at this moment, in order to suppress the opponent, he could only bring the super sea sword technique to its limit. However, at the moment we are fully engaged in battle. He had no choice but to exert some of his energy at Lu Qingyuan's place, because he has already noticed Lu Qingyuan can't hold on much longer. In fact, Feng Shao, I never expected it myself. Lu Qingyuan actually chose to stay behind. In a moment, 1,000 feelings surged within. He once had high hopes for Lu Qingyuan. Seeing the unyielding side of his company, it hurt deeply. At this moment, seeing Lu Qingyuan take the initiative to hold the rear, Feng Shao felt a slight sense of comfort in his heart. At least in his heart. There are still other fellow disciples. However, the gap in strength is evident. Even if Lu Qingyuan gives it his all, the scale of victory, still gradually leaning towards each other. Feng Shao observed clearly, but is unable to lend a helping hand. Feelings surged within me, tangled and profound. Lu Qingyuan let out a startled cry of wow. The cry was filled with obvious pain. Feng Shao knew he had to find another way. Otherwise, Lu Qingyuan will surely perish here. He quickly thought of a strategy in his mind. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration struck. I thought of a way. At this moment, unyielding against the wind's whistle, think of other better ways. He first launched a quick attack to drive back the 2 demon cultivators in front of him. Then, at lightning speed, take out a token from the storage ring. He threw it towards Lu Qingyuan with a flick of his hand, shouting Lu Shai Mai loudly. Then Lu Qingyuan heard this. Subconsciously, looked towards the direction of the wind whistle. When the token flew in, he quickly reached out. He quickly rushed over to stop the demon cultivator he was fighting, but it was still a step too late. I watched helplessly as Lu Qingyuan grabbed the token. The next moment he felt a flash of white light before him. After the brilliance fades away, Lu Qingyuan suddenly vanished on the spot. Then the demon cultivator first. Then I understood. It turns out that the token actually has a teleportation function. Good Yuteiwei sect's holy son. Quite skilled at this. The demon cultivator was furious. Gritting their teeth, they glared at the wind whistle. Lu Qingyuan meant a lot to him. It's a perfect furnace. It's almost within reach. Was unexpectedly sent away by a mysterious token from the Wind Herald. This made him feel like the cooked duck had flown away. Among the disciples of Teiwei sect right now, besides the wind whistle, everyone has run away. Feeling frustrated, the three of them decided, we must definitely keep that wind whistle guy. That token is used by Feng Xiaotu. At a critical moment, it saved my life. Can only be triggered once a day. Only one person can be sent away at a time. And the direction is random. Distance random. But it will not exceed 500 miles. After sending Lu Qingyuan away with the token, even the wind whistle itself, no one knows about Lu Qingyuan's current defenses. Looking at the finished product, the three demon cultivators surrounded themselves in the center. Feng Xiao squinted slightly. Left-handed sword, but he put it away. He crossed the sword over his chest. He said coldly, everyone, should we keep fighting? One of the demon cultivators sneered. Although you're junior brothers and sisters, we can't be together anymore. But if I can take you down, that can be considered a significant achievement. Feng Xiao took a deep breath. He said calmly, since that's the case, then let's go. The battle begins again. Chapter 23 is fire. Silently fanning the gathering stillness, a white light suddenly flashed. Then a figure fell heavily to the ground. Lu Qingyuan did not expect. The whistle blew over. It turns out to be a rare teleportation treasure. In the moment of being enveloped by white light, he felt a sudden dizziness. Just like in an instant. It felt like spinning in place for hundreds of circles. When the transmission finally came to an end, he felt like he was grabbed by a large hand out of nowhere. Then it was harshly poured onto the ground. Next moment, he then felt his body. He crashed heavily onto the ground. He was knocked down on all fours. It all seems to be falling apart. Powerful impact. Make him feel it in his very core. It all seems to have shifted. Lying on the ground for quite a while, Lu Qingyuan finally calmed down. He slowly stood up, eyes filled with confusion. He doesn't know. Where have I been transported to? But he knows. Transmitting treasures are extremely rare. Many people at critical moments. A life-saving prop. Feng Xiao, even as the Towei Zong Shengzi. You should only have one teleportation talisman in hand. But he will transmit the magical artifact used on oneself. So what about him? How should he escape? Recalling all these years. The wind whistle is like a guardian figure. Carefully look after every fellow disciple in the sect, regarding others' requests for help. Feng Xiao rarely declines. Always try to help. When facing danger, the wind whistle always remains. Cover for everyone. Ming Ming sometimes encounters enemies, far more powerful than him, but he just, always bearing everything alone. This time going down the mountain, Feng Xiao wants to obtain the purpose of evasive speech. It's not just for himself, but for the sect, in order to let the sect, having one's own alchemy pavilion and the foundry room, in order to let the disciples of Teiwei sect use better elixirs and weapons. Lu Qingyuan couldn't help but crouch down. Bury your head in your legs. Smoke rises. Until this moment, he suddenly realized. Over the years, he has never understood it. This master brother of the sect leader, he knows it well, the one who seizes the words of avoidance. It is the junior disciple Yi Chen. Regarding Yi Chen's actions, he couldn't understand it at all. Qi Yechen, after all, is only junior apprentice. His heartache made him choose to protect Yi Chen, but overlooked Yi Chen's actions. How much damage has been done to the sect? He further neglected Feng Xiao's contributions to the sect, and the high hopes placed on him. He finally discovered, I was wrong, and it is a huge mistake. But he still has a chance. Will I gain Feng Xiao's forgiveness? Successfully seized Yi Chen's evasive words. Joy in the heart. It is almost impossible to describe in words. So many people have worked hard through thick and thin. The elusive words of caution obtained. Now it has fallen into my hands. This genius treasure belongs to me. This opportunity is mine. After obtaining the words of refuge, Yi Chen quickly fled. It flew for hundreds of miles. Finally, amidst a sea of, stopped in the dense forest. After confirming that no one is chasing after them, he couldn't wait any longer. Open the crimson gourd. I want to take a look. The thing's inside. What is it really? But as soon as the scarlet gourd was opened, a wave of heat hit me. Yi Chen was taken aback, quickly threw the crimson gourd aside. However, the raging flames, it has already burst out from the crimson gourd. In an instant, then set the surrounding flowers, grass, and trees on fire. Bifeng was originally the essence of plants and trees. Its unique spiritual fire can burn all the grass and trees in the world. In an instant, the fierce flames soared into the sky. The reverse spirit instantly transformed into a sea of fire. Yi Chen did not expect, stored in the crimson gourd. It turns out to be flames. Under the main idea, caused such a great fire. It left him momentarily at a loss. As the flames burned brightly, it's going to burn him. But he doesn't know. Should I retreat? Still worth the risk. Put away the red gourd. Not knowing what to do. A slightly aged laugh. Suddenly, a sound rang out above Yi Chen's head. What a lovely little doll! They actually set such a big fire. You little rascal. If you want to self-immolate, then do it. Why did you go into the woods to self-immolate? Yi Chen instinctively looked up. An elderly man dressed in blue and green appeared, sitting upright on the branch, holding a wine gourd in one hand. Zheng Yuzai leisurely sipped his drink, facing the raging flames not far away. The old man seemed to not care at all. Instead, they began to observe with great interest. This fire is no ordinary fire. It's almost as powerful as the sixth Yang spirit fire. Kid, where did you get this fire? The old man looked down and asked Yi Chen with a smile. Yi Chen's expression was awkward, mumbled hesitantly, this gourd, this gourd. I bought it from Linglong Pavilion. I don't know either. What is inside this gourd? I don't know either. What is the origin of this fire? Actually, at the moment the flames burst forth, Yi Chen had already guessed it. The origin of this fire. The fire taken from Bifeng Garden. It is not a statement from Bai Fang. What else could it be? But he couldn't express it. The origin of this green square's words. He simply pushed it off, claiming he didn't know. The old man was quite intrigued. Took a glance at Yi Chen. Laughing, he said, "You little rascal. Luck is quite good. Just buy a gourd casually. All can produce such extraordinary talents and treasures. Truly rare. Speaking of this, the old man suddenly let out a sound. They began to size up Yi Chen. Yi Chen felt a chill run down his spine under his gaze, but didn't dare to move at all, because he has already noticed. This old man is actually at the golden elixir realm, and it seems they are about to enter the transformation realm. Such esteemed elders of this realm. He is not someone Yi Chen can provoke. After the old man examined Yi Chen for a while. You little rascal, always talking back. The aura is quite extraordinary. Kid, I ask you, when you usually go out, is it often possible to find? Good stuff. Yi Chen was startled. How did you know? The old man laughed heartily. Since you can see your aura. Speculating about such trivial matters. Isn't it easy? You're not bad, kid. Let the old man take a look. Really like it. Speaking of which, the old man felt deeply moved. I never expected to grow old. Unexpectedly encountered a son of elegance. It is clear that heaven has not treated me poorly. Yi Chen was moved by the old man's words. Said in complete confusion, I have a bunch of questions I'd like to ask. But looking at the increasingly fierce flames, Yi Chen couldn't help but remind his senior, do you have a way? Put out this fire. If we don't extinguish the fire soon, if we don't extinguish the fire soon. This forest, it seems everything is going to burn down. The old man laughs. You've got quite the insight, kid. Also know how to put out fires. Don't worry. My old man is here. A mere mountain fire. With a snap of the fingers it can be extinguished. But before that, we need to retrieve that gourd first. The old man let out a long laugh. A quick dodge. Rushed into the flames. It seemed as if he was enveloped, covered with a protective layer. Fiery flames. Yet it cannot harm him in the slightest. He quickly weaved through the flames. Soon arrived at the red gourd. Location. He grabbed it. Pick up the crimson gourd. Close the lid. Between the void. Once again emerged from the flames. The old man moved in and out. The speed is incredible. Let Yi Chen see almost nothing. The old man waved his hand. The crimson gourd. Throw it to Yi Chen. Laughing until next time. Just let you see. Old man, how I put out the fire. Speak. He turned around. Double arms roll. Embracing Tai Chi. I do not know that old man. What method did you use? As his gestures continued to change. Flames in the dense forest. Slowly closed in as well. The originally soaring flames. It was torn into a toy in the old man's hands. In just a moment. Soaring flames. It turned into a small flame. The last bite. The little flame quietly extinguished. Yi Chen stared in disbelief. He guessed it. The other party is a senior expert. But I never expected. He actually managed to extinguish the fire using such a method. The old man said proudly, how about that? Old man, my move encompasses everything. Isn't it quite impressive? All-encompassing. Yi Chen was astonished. All-encompassing. But it is the secret mission of my Y clan. Senior, how did you learn to use this move? Oh, you kid are also too much of the Y sect. The old man asked in surprise. Hearing the old man's words, Yi Chen understood the old man's meaning perfectly. So he hurriedly asked, are you a senior of this school? The old man smiled faintly. That's well said. I am also from the Teiwei sect, the current leader of the Teiwei sect. Saw me? You still need to call me Shishu. At this moment, Yi Chen. But deep down I felt uneasy. This evasive remark. It was seized from Feng Shao and the others. It was equivalent to stealing something that belonged to the Tewei sect. Now that it has been seen by the senior of our school, isn't it just like catching a thief with the stolen goods? So, absolutely cannot let the other party know the true origin of this saying about avoidance. Yi Chen was contemplating how to fool this old man. But then the old man said, "You are born with the body of fire." Here there's such flexibility again. I have to say, you're really lucky, kid, since you are a junior in this field. Then I will lend you a helping hand. Yi Chen was taken aback, just about to speak, but the old man reached out his hand, seizing the crimson gourd in hand. Then Da and Ziozi, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and open your mouth. Before Yi Chen could express his opinion, the old man surprisingly opened the gourd mouth, directly stuffed in Yi Chen's mouth. The next moment, Yi Chen felt a wave of heat, like a surging flow of magma, rushing straight down to the 5 internal organs. Yi Chen brandished his claws menacingly. I want to take down the gourd. But the old man pressed down on the gourd with one hand. With one hand I pressed down on Yi Chen's head. Yi Chen could not break free. At this moment Yi Chen only feel unbearable suffering. That evasive remark, even if it's a good thing. But the temperature. But it's real. Drinking it straight down. Ordinary people have long been accustomed to being worn out. And Yi Chen, being the body of the fire slayer, though not afraid of the flames burning within, but it really hurts. Yi Chen even felt one's own internal organs. It may have already been cooked through. Yi Chen's heart even felt a hint of regret. You say I'm just idling around. Why are you grabbing him? Chapter 24, Support. Yi Chen did not know. How did I manage to get through it? In short, after everything has been accepted, he can only, lying on the ground, feeling completely weak. The face shows a look of despair. It's just like it has been destroyed by the dead, even the body of the fire slayer. This is evasive statement. It's not that easy to swallow. Yi Chen had just swallowed. After the evasive words, my whole body felt as if it were on fire, fully covered in red, scorching hot. If you were to place an egg on him, all can be cooked thoroughly in a short time. To prevent this, the son of one's own admired grace. And just like that, they'd passed away. The old man helped him again, guide the internal vital energy. This successfully conveys the words of caution. Incorporate into his bloodline after the elders finished their tasks. Time. A full day has passed. The old man was sweating profusely from exhaustion. Genti also consumes everything, only able to lean against the big tree. Slowly adjust your breathing. Yi Chen, after undergoing a fierce baptism by fire, finally gradually waking up from the coma, awakened. At the moment of waking up, Yi Chen initially looked blankly, stared at the sky for a while. Then he leaped up, unconsciously wanting to escape. Before he could take a step, then the old man said slowly, "Kid, where do you want to run off to?" Yi Chen smiled slightly. Expression on the face. Can't tell if it's crying or laughing. He wore a mournful expression. Addressed the elder as master uncle. "I have no grievance with you. Why do you treat me this way?" The old man snorted. "You little rascal, truly unaware of what is good for them. If it weren't for your bones are astonishing, I wouldn't go through such great trouble. I'll help you merge the spirit fire." You little rascal, how could you? Unaware of the bargain they got. This old man's heartfelt effort. What a waste. Yi Chen Yi Zhan, quickly channeling his true energy, observe the conditions inside the body. This luck doesn't matter, he immediately discovered. In the dantian there unexpectedly appeared a blazing fire. The flames are extraordinarily intense. Gives a feeling of the feeling of being able to burn all the grass and trees in the world. But in his dantian, but it is very honest. It's just like, it feels as if it has been tamed. Yi Chen struck out a palm toward the big tree beside him. In the wind of the palm, carrying an intensely hot fiery wind, with a single slap, unexpectedly on the trunk, a charred handprint was left behind. Yi Chen was both surprised and delighted. I can't believe I actually merged. Evasive words. Evasive words. The old man said thoughtfully, "You little rascal, it seems you know the origin of this spiritual fire. However, these words of avoidance. Aren't we at Bai Fang Yuan? How did you get it again?" This is the question from the old man. Yi Chen felt a moment of hesitation. I don't know how to respond. Fortunately, the old man seems to. I don't want to dig too deep. He simply said softly, "Although I have been gone for a long time, did not return to Teiwei sect, but after all still a member of the Teiwei sect. You rascal, as a disciple of the Teiwei sect, as a senior of the Teiwei sect, nature also needs some care. I just hope you kid, after integrating this advice for evasion, able to contribute more for the sect. I am content with what I have." He Yechen's expression, but it seemed a bit awkward. This is a roundabout way of speaking. He took it from a fellow disciple. It's really hard to show off if others find out. Being expelled from the sect, avoidance of direct words, already merged into his body. It's no longer something he wants to hide, can be hidden. Thinking of this face, Yi Chen suddenly had a brilliant idea. I thought of a way. Yi Chen tentatively. I asked the elder about my master's master. Why has it been so many years? You haven't returned to the sect for a long time. The old man sighed. Her face showed a look of nostalgia. I don't know about the current Taiwai sect. What is happening? But when I left Teiwei sect back then, the Teiwei sect is in a perilous state. At that time I felt that Teiwei sect might not last much longer, about to be expelled. But I am powerless against this. The only thing we can do, it can only be a departure from the Teiwei sect. As much as possible for Taiwai sect. Leave behind a legacy. As long as I have this legacy, even if Teiwei sect has been disqualified, one day it will happen. Can rise again. Yi Chen quickly clapped his hands. Master Uncle Zhu always looking far ahead. Admirable. The old man looked at him with appreciation. It feels somewhat like knowing a confidant. I never expected it would be so many years later. My thoughts from back then, only you can understand, kid. But back then, my senior brother, that is your grandmaster, but cannot agree with my thoughts. You say I am avoiding responsibility. HMPH. He did not evade responsibility. But the Teiwei sect, is it really in his hands? Has it risen again? I do this. It's just leave a seed for the Teiwei sect. Yi Chen also agreed with the master ancestor. He doesn't have your foresight. I don't understand. You are also normal. The old man shook his head. You can't say that either. As the leader, naturally, we need to consider more things. At that time, the Teiwei sect. To be honest, indeed, there aren't many people left. Senior brother has gone through countless hardships. Only accepted disciples with slightly better qualifications. A disciple without qualifications. This is too subtle. Can only decline step by step. Speaking of which, the old man suddenly asked Yi Chen, "By the way, my senior brother's 3 disciples. What is happening now? Yi Chen replied, Master Zhangmen Shibo, now it has reached the realm of transformation. Distance to He Dao, it is said to be just 1 step away. The second master and my master are somewhat different, but I have already entered the transformation realm. How is this possible? The old man couldn't help but exclaim, the Teiwei Sutra is already in tatters. One can only cultivate to the realm of golden elixir. I worked hard for many years. Can only deduce to the realm of golden core completion. The realm of transformation has always remained beyond reach. Your master and your master's uncle. How did you get in again? Ascended to the realm of transformation. Seeing the astonished expression on the old man's face, Yi Chen felt a bit jealous. Original Teiwei Heart Sutra. It is indeed already in ruins. Can only cultivate to the golden core stage. The Teiwei sect has been declining for hundreds of years. The root cause lies here. Over time, Teiwei sect will undoubtedly be completely erased, even if one can accept highly talented disciples. It's of no use either. But who would have thought? The Teiwei sect suddenly emerged. That guy Feng Xiao. Feng Xiao had just entered the Teiwei sect. He brought along a group of people. Begin the interpretation of the Teiwei Heart Sutra. After years of continuous research and deduction, it has just been completed to 80%. It is said that the Teiwei Heart Sutra was derived from Feng Xiao's calculations. You can already cultivate to the river realm. The Teiwei Heart Sutra is far more complete than before, elevated to 2 realms. In other words, the 3 disciples of King Yangzi. Now one can reach the realm of transformation God. It is entirely thanks to Feng Xiao's contributions. But Yi Chen is proud and arrogant. He has always been reliant on the position of the sect's holy son. How could I be willing to admit it? This great achievement belongs to Feng Xiao. He rolled his eyes, addressing the elder as Shi Shuzu. Fei, speaking of this, there is something I fear. I have to tell you something. The old man asked strangely what was the matter. Yi Chen sighed. Speaking of master uncle ancestor, you may not know. The Teiwei Heart Sutra. It was indeed fundamentally flawed, thanks to the later sect leader, Master Shi, leading a group of disciples. The analysis of the broken Teiwei Heart Sutra. This is what finally refined it into something complete. In this matter, many senior brothers and sisters. Everyone put in a lot of effort, but in the end the credit goes to, was all taken by the eldest disciple of the sect leader, took it away. He also threatened Shuo Teiwei Zong. If it weren't for him, perhaps it has long since declined. The old man, upon hearing this, uncontrollable anger. This is simply outrageous. In this world, how can there be such a shameless person? Yi Chen nodded repeatedly. Isn't that right, master uncle? But he is, after all, the chief disciple. The entire Teiwei sect, from top to bottom, everyone looks up to him as the leader. Even more so, now outside of the Teiwei sect, only know his name as the eldest disciple of the sect leader. Yet unbeknownst to them, the leader of the Teiwei sect, it's truly overshadowing the main event. Reckless and unrestrained, the old man sees victory with anger. He suddenly slapped his thigh, angered to the point of acting recklessly. Doesn't your master care? Yi Chen pretended. Sighing helplessly, Shi Shuzu, do you think the sect leader doesn't want to get involved? He can't control it. Now the entire sect, almost everyone only listens to his eldest disciple, who still takes him seriously as the leader, if it weren't for the gratitude towards the teachings and guidance. I'm just afraid of his eldest disciple. I've long been the one in charge. The old man believed it to be true, couldn't help but keep slapping my thigh, heartbroken and indignant. The sect does not trust. The sect does not believe. We are the ripples of the blue waves. Yet it is called Shuzi Changming. Heaven has no eyes. The old man shouted. One side hangs down. After venting for a while, he suddenly looked up. The boy's eyes glinted with menace. Since you are the sect leader, cannot become the leader of the sect, cannot speak of it. I can only let this old man come out of retirement. Please tidy up over there. I will return to the mountain with you. I want to see for myself. What kind of person is this? How dare you disrespect your teacher and betray your ancestors? Yichen felt a surge of joy in his heart, yet it appeared difficult on his face. But master uncle, after all, he is the eldest disciple of the sect leader, the grand disciple of the fart sect. The old man scolded. Even if it's your master uncle, you have to see me too, with utmost respect, addressing Shishu. His identity as the head disciple of the sect leader. Others buy it. I won't buy into that. Yi Chen's face instantly lit up with joy, hurriedly said, since that's the case, then the disciple accompanied their master's uncle. Take this journey. At this moment, Yi Chen's heart, it's already stunningly beautiful. The old man didn't know either. Have you been in the forest for too long? It's surprisingly easy to deceive. 3 words and 2 phrases just got pulled in by him. It's over here. It didn't take much effort. And with such a great deity now, build a support system for yourself. Even if I seize it myself, the matter of evasive words. Let people know. No one would dare either. Challenging oneself. More importantly, he has always been displeased with Feng Shao. Now this, we're about to run into big trouble. Thinking of Feng Shao will be affected by this not-so-bright person, master uncle reprimanded. Yi Chen could hardly contain his laughter. At this moment, the old man suddenly asked, That's right, kid. You haven't told me yet. The sect leader's eldest disciple. What is your name? Yi Chen quickly said, reporting back to Uncle Master. His name is Feng Shao. Chapter 25. Liang's Spirit Fire. When Feng Shao returned to Teiwei sect, everyone saw. That moment of his, everyone was stunned. Only Wen Shao was seen all over, covered in wounds of all sizes. Many wounds. Black smoke is still rising. Clearly, it was hurt by the enchanted energy. Cannot be dispelled for a moment. On the originally pristine robe, covered in bloodstains, I don't even know if it's his own. Still the enemy. No one knows. Feng Shao is facing. When facing 3 enemies, how did you manage to escape? But clearly, Feng Shao experienced a storm. Desperate battle for survival. But fortunately, the wind will eventually return. Still alive and returned. Feng Shao returned to the mountain. First time, it's just a head count. Determining, after Lu Qingyuan left, no one gets left behind. He finally breathed a sigh of relief. Han Bian asked about Lu Qingyuan. Feng Shao replied, He is fine, but it might take a few more days. Only then can I return. Heard this face. Han Bian finally felt relieved after learning that Feng Shao has returned to the mountain. Elder Song, the supervisor of the foundry. Elder Zhu, the manager of the alchemy pavilion. First time. So she sought out Feng Shao before the departure of Feng Shao. Assure the 2 people will bring the spiritual fire. So there now. The most concerning issue is there a wind master? Bring back the spirit fire. But after meeting Feng Shao, even if it's temper, the worst Elder Shu, couldn't help but fall silent. He looked at Feng Shao, those various wounds, couldn't help but say, "You little rascal, could it be that you really turned yourself?" The day the celestial soldiers and generals arrived, encountering danger, running without knowing it, but still insists on holding back for others. Could it be that others? We only have one life. Only you are special, as 9 lives. Feng Shao smiled bitterly. Lao Zhu, don't abandon me, as the holy son of the sect. Again, the master's eldest disciple, encountering danger. If I don't go, who will? We can't let them. Disciples whose strength has not yet reached the innate realm go up and die. Besides, I am confident in my abilities. Even if we can't win, running can also be done. Elder Song patted the shoulder of the Wind Master, speaking of Feng Shao. This is too subtle. You're not the only one who can manage things. Why does everything have to be you? You're too shishu. Is it just about putting it up? Feng Shao but replied, I just don't doubt my 2 masters. It's just that some things, it's still better to do it myself, feeling more grounded. What about your bottom line? Elder Zhu said irritably. I've heard about it. You have worked hard, the words of caution in hand. It's not even warm yet. Let others take it away. You said, if your 2 masters were to fight. Is it really that way? Feng Shao looked very ashamed. This matter is my fault for delaying. Did not expect. The mantis stalks the cicada. The sparrow is behind. However, the identity of the person who snatched it away, I am also aware. After bringing him back, I will make him pay. Having said that, in the eyes of Feng Shao, an aura of killing intent couldn't help but emanate. Elder Zhu was puzzled. You asked if I could bring him back. Could it be the one who steals? After all, they are still disciples of the Wei clan. Feng Shao sneered, knowing a person's face but not their heart. I didn't expect he would enter the door for 5 years. Not only useless to the sect. Instead, they are being treacherous. Since he insists on doing this, unjust and unkind deeds, then I can only show him a good time. Song Elder Wenan, lost in thought. Since this person dares to come from your hands, seizing the words of Bifang, it was successful. So, this person must possess considerable strength. As far as I know, among the disciples of the Tewei sect, except for you, only 2 people entered the primordial realm. It's still all 3 over there. Could it be that this time it's an insider? It turns out there are 3 disciples. Feng Shao did not speak directly. Instead, he said, 2 elders, this time going out for a trip, although I couldn't bring the words of Bai Fang. However, I have unexpectedly obtained news of another spirit fire. Please wait a few more days. Respond to the spiritual fire of the 2 elders. I will definitely bring it back. Elder Song comforted. There's no need to rush this matter, although the spirit fire is of great importance. But it does not compete for this moment. You should rest for a few days. Once I have taken care of my health, let's talk about the matter of Ling Huo. Elder Zhu nodded as well. You little rascal, this journey of yours. Almost lost my life. You should take a good rest first. I really don't want to wait for the spirit fire. But first, I heard the news of your death. Elder Zhu's words may not sound pleasant, but the concern is genuine. It is self-evident. Feng Shao smiled. The 2 elders can rest assured. My life is extremely precious. I don't want to be worn out. After sending off the 2 elders, I will go. Feng Shao sat cross-legged on the bed, lost in thought. This trip out, Energy is 10 times dangerous. But the greatest danger, but it was not at the avoidance officer's place, fighting against the shadow of the evading direction, but with those three, the battle of the golden elixir mirror demon cultivators. This time against the enemy. He was almost at the end of his rope. This successfully killed the three. This time, it can be said that this is Feng Xiao's first time in life, slaying the enemy of the golden core mirror, and it's three at once. This made Feng Xiao reflect on his own strength. I have a rough understanding. The Kaienkan canon practiced by Feng Xiao, quietly, extremely slow, but it has great potential, and before reaching the golden elixir realm, an opportunity to reshape one's destiny. But we have to go to a special place. Let's complete this step. Feng Xiao has resolved it. After those three demon cultivators, then feel your own realm has begun to loosen slightly. If all goes well, no more than 3 months, you can enter the realm of golden elixir. So he must do it within 3 months. Take a walk to that place. But that place is located in Zhangzhou, distance from Teiwei Mountain, a distance of 10,000 miles. So this trip counts as a long journey. It won't be back in a short time. Before departure, he needs to resolve the flexible matters first. Evasive words. Since it has already been night and morning. Theft. It's basically impossible to get it back. Yi Chen is currently missing without a trace. However, in a short period of time, it shouldn't come back. Feng Xiao said he would expel Yi Chen from the sect. But Yi Chen is after all a child of charisma. The fate of the child of Kaiyuan. Many times, they are all unreasonable. To outsiders, it's a disaster. For the child of Kaiyuan, perhaps it was a great opportunity. Therefore, to prevent accidents, Feng Xiao decided to act alone this time, and it must return before dawn. Just get the flexibility in hand. Never give him a second chance to seize it. On the way back to the mountains, Feng Xiao unexpectedly, realization, the aura condensed by the heavenly flower royal script has increased again. Not only that, he also discovered Tian Hui Yudian is faintly hidden. It seems there are signs of transformation. This surprised Feng Xiao. I couldn't help but feel joy, though I do not know why I have the celestial flower imperial edict by my side. But these years, Feng Xiao has relied on the heavenly flower imperial edict, gained quite a few good things. The heavenly flower imperial edict has been issued. Treat it as your greatest advantage. Although I have traveled here, no system, but this day, the flower royal edict was no worse than the system. It's just that the heavenly flower imperial edict often only vague descriptions of the treasure, more details. Often, one needs to search for ancient texts themselves. This time, the transformation of the heavenly flower imperial edict. Yet it allowed Feng Xiao to obtain more detailed information. For example, right now, Feng Xiao then descended from the ceiling, learned the location of the 6 Yang spirit fire, Liang spirit fire, on rank, on the words of Bai Fang, if there were such a spirit fire array shirt. Don't mention alchemy and forging. Even the Guardian Mountain formation, you can add another feature. Thinking of this space. In the eyes of the wind, a flicker of excitement flashed through. The hatred towards Yi Chen. But right now, the most important thing is, first, let's take care of our health. Feng Xiao Dang Zaya. Then begin to meditate and regulate your breath. Kayan Kun Bao Dian, aside from being quiet and slow. It can almost be said to be a comprehensive skill set. Cannot find any flaws at all. At this moment, after the operation of yin and yang energies, The wounds on Feng Shao rapidly healed, even the true energy within the Danshan. It was quickly filled up. It's just a few hours. Feng Shao has almost returned to his peak state. When he finished meditating, the sky has darkened. He walked out of the room. It has now reached the hour of the pit. Usually at this time, the other disciples have already fallen asleep. At this moment, Tawei Mountain is bustling with activity. Everyone fell into a deep silence, can only faintly hear the sounds of insects and birds. Feng Shao summoned the heavenly flower imperial edict. After determining the location of the Li Yang spirit fire, he sprang up and grabbed the arrow. In an instant it vanished without a trace. At this moment, everyone in the Teiwei sect was still in a deep sleep. Lu Qingyuan did not know. How long have I wandered in this forest? He didn't even know. Do I really want to go out? Because of protecting Yi Chen, led to the once highly anticipated Feng Shao, even gave birth to the plan to expel him from the sect. This made Lu Qingyuan feel extremely upset. At the moment when Shao transported him over, he suddenly realized, it turns out it was Win Shao. I have already sacrificed too much for this sect. They have sacrificed so much for their disciples. He is just their senior brother. However, it took over the entire sect. Almost everything, even the martial arts techniques they practiced. It was all taught by Feng Shao himself. Feng Shao spoke to them. It's truly the end of my patience. So, no one has the right to demand. Feng Shao does even more. Originally, Lu Qingyuan had feelings for Feng Shao. There is some resentment, but now in his heart, only deep guilt. He felt guilty for letting down Feng Shao's expectations for him, guilt over the little junior brother, putting the interests of the sect above all else. More ashamed of my inability to distinguish right from wrong, he even felt a bit of hatred in his heart. Pei Chen, why do we have to seize them? Finally obtained the words of the armed square. Pei Chen, why should we let him? Placed in such a difficult situation now. He wandered in the forest for an unknown amount of time, until the night quietly passed, until dawn breaks. He finally made up his mind. Whether Feng Shao forgives him or not, he must return to the sect. Zhang Feng Shao admits his mistake. No matter what punishment it is, he willingly accepted. So he stood up to meet him, fly high into the sky, seeing clearly from 100 miles away. Behind the city walls, he immediately flew to that place. He needs to determine his position first. We need to find a way to return to Teiwei sect, and a large city. It is clearly the best place to determine the direction. He didn't know. Not long ago, Feng Shao has just arrived in this city. Chapter 26. Fire-breathing python. According to the display of the Heavenly Flower Imperial Inspection, Liang's spirit fire, west of Teiwei sect, approximately 1800 li away. Due to this time, no need to bring anyone else. Therefore, Feng Shao flies with all his might. Just a few hours. They arrived at a large city 500 miles away. The sky is already breaking dawn. Feng Shao decided to take a break for a while. Let's have breakfast along the way. In fact, cultivating to the realm of Feng Shao. Even if I don't eat for 10 days or half a month, no problem. But he has not yet reached the perfection of the innate realm. Absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Can only replenish a part of the body's consumption, unable to supplement everything. Therefore, occasionally have a meal. It's also good for the body. Moreover, eating itself is one of life's greatest pleasures. In the absence of a need to avoid grains, why give up this joy? When the wind walks through the city streets, Lu Qingyuan also arrived in this city. The Windmaster's teleportation token can be transmitted up to 500 miles away. However, the position is random. But even Feng Xiao didn't expect. Lu Qingyuan actually managed to teleport near this city. Lu Qingyuan entered the city, just about to ask someone for directions. From a distance, I saw a familiar figure. Without verification. Brother Feng. Why did he come here? Originally encountered a senior brother from my sect hundreds of miles away. Lu Qingyuan should feel happy inside. Just a coincidence. The other party is Feng Xiao, facing the wind Xiao Lu Qingyuan. It's hard not to feel a bit guilty. After thinking it over, Lu Qingyuan made a decision. Let's not follow the trend and meet less often for now. Let's follow him for a while. What does he want to do? If the wind ever needs anything, maybe I can still be of some help, make up for one's own mistakes. As Feng Xiao walked into a tavern, Lu Qingyuan glanced around. I found a nearby tea house and sat down, and casually picked a cup of tea to drink. Not long after, Feng Xiao walked out of the tavern. Then they headed straight to the west gate of the city. Lu Qingyuan hurriedly settled the bill. I followed along as well. After leaving the city gate, Feng Xiao casually found a place with no one around. Suddenly encountered a soaring flight. Lu Qingyuan saw this. I felt even more confused. What does Brother Feng really intend to do? He also encountered and followed along. Only the wind flies at a speed so fast. Lu Qingyuan exerted nearly all his strength. I just took a look, and I didn't lose track. That night when we landed, Lu Qingyuan felt a wave of emptiness in his body, almost fell to the ground. He quickly sat down on the ground to regulate his breathing. The wind is gentle among the trees ahead. Then turned back to take a glance. Lu Qingyuan's cultivation. In the end, they are still somewhat inferior to Yi Chen. In order to catch up with Feng Xiao, almost exhausted all my strength. Lu Qingyuan's breath, easily noticed by Feng Xiao. Feng Xiao was reluctant to stir up trouble. Thus, they intentionally increased their speed. I don't know either. What is Lu Qingyuan really thinking? Even though the figure of Feng Xiao is almost out of sight, he still closely followed behind. Feng Xiao hesitated a bit. Lu Qingyuan is still injured. If this continues to exhaust my vital energy, it will inevitably affect his recovery. But if he continues to follow me, however, some unexpected situations are bound to occur. He is somewhat afraid of these children of elegance. It's hard to do a few serious things, always causing trouble. However, remembering yesterday, Lu Qingyuan covers for his fellow disciples to retreat and personally experience the war. Feng Xiaowei let out a small sigh. That's all. Let it be. If he's up to some tricks again, I have my own ways to deal with it. This night quietly passed. The next day, Feng Xiao continued to head west. This time, he deliberately slowed down so that Lu Qingyuan can catch up. Although Lu Qingyuan was curious, why did Feng Xiao slow down? But he didn't think much of it. Just treat it as a light breeze. I want to conserve my energy because of Feng Xiao's deliberate leniency. This time, Lu Qingyuan easily caught up. There's even some surplus. Conceal one's own anxiety. That day was spent in vain again. Feng Xiao finally landed before a mountain peak. After meditating and calming the breath for a while, General Feng's condition has reached its peak. This is when I stood up. Begin observing the mountain peaks before you. This mountain looks unremarkable. Among the many famous mountains and rivers in the upper domain, it's at most just a small hill. But who would have thought? Tianxie, the six yang spirit fire of the world, hidden within this mountain peak, lay in spirit fire, the fire of Jiayang, though it cannot compare to the Jushan Lihuo, which is also a Yang fire, but among the many spiritual fires, it can be considered among the top ranks. If using 6 Yang spirit fire to refine elixirs, can easily dissolve the carbuncle within, enhance the quality of the elixir by at least 1 level. If I could forge an ice blade with 6 Yang spirit fire, it can also add the effect of dispelling evil and breaking magic to the ice blade to confront the enemy demon cultivators. You can achieve twice the result with half the effort. Not only that, laying spirit fire, it can also be used to reinforce the protective mountain formation. Add the burning attribute to the mountain protection array. The power can more than double. Such divine fire, it goes without saying, if it is where the world's curiosity lies, what kind of commotion will it cause? But now, laying spirit fire, still quietly hidden in this unremarkable little mountain, besides the wind whistle, no one knows of its existence. The wind whistle passes through the ceiling inspection. After a thorough investigation, finally at the foot of the mountain, found a narrow cave entrance. The entrance to this cave is extremely concealed. If not for the deliberate search, it's almost impossible to find out. As Feng Xiao saw the entrance of the cave, a strange thought suddenly popped into my mind. A cave entrance hidden so deep. How do you feel? It feels like it's specially arranged for a certain kind of person. The wind whistle can even imagine a child of grace being chased by enemies. During the escape, unexpected discovery, this hidden entrance, then enter the cave entrance. Obtain the 6 Yang spirit fire. Greatly enhanced strength. After coming out, the cliché of annihilating the enemy's entire family. Thinking of this face, Feng Xiao couldn't help but shake his head, a self-deprecating smile. These past few days, I was so enraged by the son of Kaiyan that everything fell frozen. Even such a cliché plot can be thought of. After clearing the distractions from my mind, the wind whistle no longer hesitates, dived straight into the cave. When the wind whistled into the cave, Lu Qingyuan watched this scene from a distance, increasingly puzzled in my heart. He knows Feng Xiao often takes people down the mountain to explore. I also know the wind whistle can always find an opportunity. To be honest, the many opportunities of the wind whistle, anyone who sees it will be jealous. Everyone should be curious. Fortunately, the wind whistle never keeps secrets. Good things gained from chance encounters. Most of it has been submitted to the sect. The remaining, most of them are blown away by the wind. Gave them to other fellow disciples. For example, the accessories in Lu Qingyuan's hand. It's just the wind whistling. Materials obtained from external searches. Cast and formed. It seems this time the wind whistle brought news from an unknown source. Rushed over to seek opportunities. But why this time does the wind whistle? I came out alone, carrying the doubts in my heart. Lu Qingyuan quietly followed behind. After the cave entrance, it is an extremely narrow eternal path, only able to walk alone. After walking for about several hundred meters, the road gradually widened. After walking several dozen meters again, Lu Qingyuan felt a sudden clarity. Before me was a vast and dark cavern. Lu Qingyuan anxiously gazed into the distance. After searching for a while, soon they found Feng Xiao's figure. Only the sound of the wind can be heard as it walks slowly through the cave. It seemed like he already had a target in mind. Moving while stationary, no hesitation at all. When we reached the 10 walls in the cave across the way, the wind whistle finally came to a stop. That Lu Qingyuan then saw Feng Xiao crouch down. took out some items from the storage ring. Let's start setting things up. Before long, a simple formation appeared at the feet of Feng Shou. Lu Qingyuan observed carefully, suddenly realized he had never seen this formation before. This formation, it doesn't seem to be a sect formation. So, where did the wind whistle come from? It seems that this Saint Sun Brother holds a secret, far more than I imagined. He even began to question the identity of the wind whistle. Curiosity arose. Having so many opportunities, there are so many secret techniques. This Holy Sun Senior Brother, what on earth is going on? He is truly the Grandmaster. Is this a pot you picked up randomly from the snow? At this moment, the wind whistles. Little did they know what was in Lu Qingyuan's heart. These swirling thoughts. He was setting up the formation at the same time, also put in some effort, secretly observing Lu Qingyuan. He is unclear, Lu Qingyuan's purpose for following, although the other party likely has no malicious intent. But Feng Shou still made some extra preparations. Once the formation is complete, Feng Shou finally stood up, facing the stone wall. Draw the longsword. Meanwhile, a faint image emerged on the stone wall, faint crimson runes, emitting a blazing heat. Lu Qingyuan saw this. Couldn't help but widen my eyes. Such momentum. Could it be that what is sealed within that stone wall is? Before he could change his mind, suddenly Feng Shou let out a loud shout. A sword struck against the stone wall. Boom! Under the full force of the wind whistle's strike, a powerful surge of sword energy slipped away, crashed violently against the stone wall. However, at the moment the sword energy struck the stone wall, crimson rune, in an instant brilliance shone brightly. Then came a strange laugh, came from within. Feng Shou's expression was serious. Immediately after that, once again a sword aura was unleashed. This sword, still unable to break through the stone wall, the runes are even brighter. The strange laughter echoed again. And in this laughter-filled moment, a faint sense of anger has emerged. The next moment, suddenly, the cave began to shake, gravel and sandy soil, pouncing swiftly down. At the same time, crimson runes, it has also reached its peak brightness. Then a massive figure flashed by. It suddenly jumped out from the runes. After Dai Fengshou and Lu Qingyuan saw clearly, suddenly realized, it turned out to be a giant python nearly 100 meters long. The giant python had no idea how many years it had rested. The body is incredibly massive. The skin was as red as blood, faintly visible intricate patterns. The giant python fought over a pair of fiery red fur, staring fiercely at the wind whistle, and the wind whistled. They stared at each other without any fear, the sword in hand, ready for the attack. What a fire-swallowing giant python! You must have been practicing here for 1,000 years, right? But I'm sorry. This time, I need to take the 6 yang spirit fire away. The wind softly said. Fire-eating python. It seems they understood the words of the wind whistle. The eyes revealed endless killing intent. He opened his blood-red mouth wide. The blazing flames howled down. Blazing flames, while illuminating the entire cave. It also reflects Lu Qingyuan. The charming face filled with shock. Senior brother Feng has come this time. It turns out they came to take the 6 yang spirit fire. Chapter 27, Breakthrough. Any spiritual object. There must be guards. Vifang's words are like this. The 6 yang spiritual fire is the same. Regarding this battle, the wind whistle was anticipated long ago. At that moment, he began to wrestle with the fire-breathing giant python. This fire-swallowing giant python, Who knows how many thousands of years have been spent in cultivation, on strength enough to rival the golden elixir realm, even able to barely compete with the transformation realm. Feng Shao, with his strength close to the golden elixir realm, rather than getting entangled. At this moment it was somewhat difficult. All one could see was Feng Shao continuously demonstrating his sword techniques. The alternating use of Tewei sect and Zio Yao Hall. Countless sword energies surged continuously, attacking the fire-eating giant python under the continuous assault of the wind whistle. The fire-eating giant python was continuously struck. Layers of scales were split apart, revealed the bright red flesh underneath. The fire-eating giant python felt pain, constantly emitting deafening roars. The roar of the fire-eating giant python is quite eerie. It sounds like human voices. It sounds like the voice of a dragon, sharp and piercing, once again with a howl akin to that of a red ant. Every sound of the wind whistle and Lu Qingyuan. It feels like my soul is about to be shattered by the impact, in the midst of the wind and whistle of battle. Yet, in my heart, I can't help but click my tongue in admiration. He remembers. Snakes are not supposed to have vocal cords. How can this fire-breathing giant python be? Yet it can emit such a roar. This is going to mutate. Still need to transform. Thinking of the words transformation and form. A spirit in the heart of the wind whistle. Discovering oneself. It might still be a bit too long. The demon beast wants to transform. Usually requires cultivation too. Only by reaching the realm of deist transformation can it be done. But before ascending to the realm of transformation, parts of the demon beast then began to transform towards a humanoid direction. Among them, the vocal cords are the first to take shape, and this fire-eating giant python can emit a roar similar to that of a human. Prove that he is very close to transformation. Such strength, already far surpassing an ordinary golden core cultivator. Thinking of this face, Feng Shao frowned, taking advantage of the opportunity after the attack. After taking the elixir, Feng Shao suddenly felt the power of the soul has ascended to a new level. No matter how the giant python roars, nothing can affect him anymore. Lu Qingyuan, hiding in the shadows, observed. But there are no such elixirs available. Can only rely on my own strength to endure. Just resisted for a while. He felt a sense of confusion, feeling a heaviness in the chest and nausea. At this moment, the wind whistle blew fiercely like a long sword. A sword aura comes with a single strike, slipped away, straight for the python's 7 inches. The giant python couldn't dodge in time, struck directly by the sword energy, suddenly struck into a bloody mess. The giant python hissed and roared, but the roar was also heavily impacted by this blow, and became hoarse, Lu Qingyuan hidden in the darkness. Until this moment, finally let out a sigh of relief. The wind whistles sword. Clearly, it has injured the python's vocal cords. In an instant, the fire-eating giant python no longer emitted that soul-stirring howl just now, but the wind whistle struck this blow. It also completely enraged the fire-eating python. Only the fire-swallowing giant python was seen, continuously opening its blood-red mouth, a swirling mass of intense flames, continuously blowing towards the wind whistle. Feng Shao relied on his footwork and agility, constantly dodging whenever the hair melts on the shoulders, dodged the flames spewed by the fire-eating giant python. The battle continues. Feng Shao's expression grew increasingly serious. The fire-eating python is indeed able to stand on the words fire-eating. Visible. It feeds on flames. This kind of spiritual beast. Usually, it doesn't breathe fire. because the flames were for them equivalent to a shocking blood, with each spray losing a bit of confidence in one's own abilities. Fire-breathing python, breath a couple of flames, still within reason. But if it breathes fire continuously, then it wouldn't be a fierce kill, but to perish together. Clearly, the sword just now from Feng Shao, not only did it anger the fire-breathing giant python, it drove the fire-swallowing giant python crazy. As the saying goes, soft ones fear the hard ones. Hard things fear being stunned, stunned to the point of risking one's life. Now this fire-breathing giant python, it was a state of desperation. Under the relentless attack of the fire-breathing python, the wind whistle reveals a living presence. Several times I almost got hit by the flames. Seeing this, Lu Qingyuan couldn't help but feel his heart race. I don't know either. The wind whistle's footwork. Where did you learn that from? The fire-eating python. It just can't hurt him. Until this moment, Lu Qingyuan suddenly realized the true strength of the wind whistle, stronger than he imagined. As the wind whistle faced the frenzied attacks of the fire-eating giant python, in that moment there was only the strength to defend. Lu Qingyuan couldn't help but feel hesitant in his heart. Should I go up and help or not? If you could help. Will the wind whistle too much? Fortunately, Feng Shao was well prepared. After a struggle with the fire-eating python, then began to move towards the pre-arranged formation. The fire-swallowing giant python, though 10 days of training is long, but the fierce spirit could not be extinguished. The spiritual essence has diminished significantly under the intentional lure of the whistling wind. Surprisingly, there wasn't much suspicion. Step by step, getting closer. Trap set under the wind signal. Getting closer, getting closer. The wind whistles silently, stepping on the 7 stars. A quick step back, retreating 2 to 3 meters. The fire-eating python had little doubt, also followed along in the swallowing fire python. As I stepped into the center of the formation, Feng Shao made a decisive decision, immediately activated the formation. The next moment, the formation's brilliance intensified. Golden iron chains appeared out of nowhere from the ground, then tightly wrapped around the fire-eating giant python. The fire-eating giant python roared in fury, a huge tail continuously striking the ground. The entire cave shook violently. Gravel and sand particles. Once again it pounced swiftly down. The wind whistle sounded as heavy as water. The common waving can almost only be seen as a shadow. A stream of sword energy almost formed a straight line. In the blink of an eye, the 7 inches of the python, it became a bloody mess. A mass of murky blood, scattered and thrown out. Lu Qingyuan, witnessing this scene, could not help but secretly breathe a sigh of relief. It's okay. It seems that Feng Shixing is all alone. We can deal with this giant python now. The fire-eating python launches a surprise attack. The painful body writhes uncontrollably. In his desperate struggle, there are actually 2 golden iron chains. Shattered by it, the radiance of the formation has also dimmed slightly. Feng Shao's expression changed without a second thought, then flew backward. The next moment, all that could be heard were a series of loud bangs. The sound of a fracture echoed. The fire-breathing python, unexpectedly, broke free from the constraints of the formation, rushing madly towards the wind whistle. Ah, fire-breathing python, clearly they have completely lost their mind. Unexpectedly, it charged straight towards the wind whistle. Don't be fooled by the giant python's massive body. The speed is astonishing, yet like lightning. If it weren't for the early prediction of the wind whistle, I'm afraid we might run into the fire giant python head on." The fire-eating giant python missed its strike. Once again, raise your head high, aimed at the position of the wind whistle. Spouting off without thinking, scorching flames, it sprayed out several meters away, and the wind whistled. I can only dodge to the side. The fire-eating giant python this time, but I completely let go. The flames relentlessly chased after the wind whistle. Not long after, a large flame has ignited on the ground. The wall is the essence of grass and trees. Its flames are natural. It can ignite all the grass and trees. However, the Liu Yang spirit fire is different. Even without grass and trees, it can also ignite spontaneously without a source. With the swallowing fire giant python, the flames being spewed out are increasing. Temperature in the cave, it has also risen quite a bit. The originally cool cave in the east, at this moment it was almost turning into a furnace. This time, Feng Xiao is really running out of options. Just thinking in the wind. How should we deal with this fire-eating giant python now? A sword energy suddenly flew in from afar. A giant fire-spitting python. On that bloodied 7-inch. The fire-breathing giant python let out another roar. A huge head turned towards the direction where the sword energy is coming from. Only saw someone who looked just a graceful girl of 17 or 18, holding a long sword in his right hand, watching itself with a predatory gaze. The fire-eating giant python let out a roar, rushed towards the girl. The young girl, upon seeing this, immediately charged. Elder Feng shouted, "This beast! I'll draw them away for you." Speaking, the girl began to demonstrate her movement technique, struggling to parry against the fire-breathing giant python. Feng Xiao cast a complicated glance at Lu Qingyuan, but said nothing at all, without hesitation, flying towards the location of the crimson runes. She took out a red gourd. "Channel your true energy and recite the incantation." The gourd mouth is facing the red rune directly. As the incantation began to sound, the runes suddenly lit up. The next moment, a ball of intense flames, surging down from the runes, straight to the red gourd in the wind whistle pass. Meanwhile, the fire-breathing giant python seemed to sense something, turning to look at the wind whistle, seeing that Feng Xiao was actually collecting Liu Yang Ling Huo. Unbearable anger, wriggling its body, rushed towards the wind whistle. Lu Qingyuan saw this, greatly surprised, quickly turned around. Facing the fire-breathing python, it was just a rush job. Lu Qingyuan didn't know how to attract the attention of the fire-eating giant python, only focused on striking the vital points of the fire-breathing python. But at that moment, the fire-eating giant python. "But it is wholehearted. I just want to reclaim the 6 Yang spirit fire." Completely ignore Lu Qingyuan's actions. As the distance between the fire-breathing giant python and Feng Xiao narrowed, getting closer, under circumstances beyond imagination, Lu Qingyuan simply circled around to the front of the fire-eating giant python. The fire giant python roared, "To think about the past, unless you pass my test first." The fire-eating giant python suddenly opened its massive bloody mouth. A blazing fire. It's already reached the throat. Lu Qingyuan couldn't help but widen his eyes. At this moment, he had no idea how to withstand such intense flames. But if we avoid it, the wind whistle is right behind. Once he dodged the fiery blaze of the fire-eating giant python. There is no doubt it will spray onto Feng Xiao. At the moment when Lu Qingyuan did not know what to do, but heard the wind whistle and sternly called out to the junior sister, "Catch it," Lu Qingyuan instinctively turned around, reaching out to catch it. I felt a small object in my hand. Opened the palm again. Looking down, it turned out to be a triangular talisman. This is before Lu Qingyuan could wait. Change of thought. The raging flames surged down towards him, and facing such a scorching flame, the only thing Lu Qingyuan could do, just close your eyes. That's it, even if turned to ashes. It doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, I have repaid the kindness of my master's teachings. He, Lu Qingyuan, felt a hint of regret in his heart at this moment. If possible, I want to do even more. However, after waiting for a long time, Lu Qingyuan never felt it. Feeling a burning sensation on my body, he opened his eyes in confusion, suddenly realized that at this moment, close to being under a dark red shield, and the flames of the fire-breathing giant python, rushing down, but was protected by this thin layer of shield, all blocked outside. He lowered his head in confusion. Only the triangular talisman was seen. It is burning slowly, although I don't know what is the origin of this triangular symbol. But it is undoubtedly something, a treasure that can be used to resist flames. It is easy to imagine the preciousness of such treasures. But Feng Shao is in battle with the fire-eating python, never used. At last, but without hesitation, it was applied to him. Lu Qingyuan felt very complicated. A thin layer of mist has already covered the eyes. I'm sorry, Feng Shixin. It was my fault. Lu Qingyuan muttered with his head down, then suddenly raised his head. In the gaze of the fire-eating giant python, a killing intent was revealed. With me here on this face, you won't harm brother Feng. Lu Qingyuan let out a long laugh. With a flick of the long sword, a massive sword aura, rise against the flames, charging straight at the python's jaw. Lu Qingyuan's powerful strike. The giant python roared incessantly, a huge tail, also because of the intense pain, and frantically pounding the ground, taking advantage of the fire-eating giant python in a moment of madness from the excruciating pain. Lu Qingyuan merged with the sword, like a shooting star, charging towards the giant python from the 7-inch part of the python. Dived right in. The roar of the giant python come to an abrupt halt. The next moment, Lu Qingyuan emerged from behind the giant python, breaking through the surface. Murky snake blood almost turned him into a blood person. I can't tell at all. In the past, a figure of unmatched elegance. Tewei sect. I'm afraid no one would think of it. This woman, whose beauty surpasses that of all martial arts schools. How could there be such a disheveled side? Lu Qingyuan, however, felt that he has never had a moment, such a moment of pure joy. Enjoy the moment. He couldn't help but let out a sound. Qingyu's long laugh, when the giant python's body, when he fell heavily to the ground. Feng Shao was looking at Lu Qingyuan with a look of contentment in their eyes. All broke through at this moment. It seems like a last-minute breakthrough. It really is the privilege of the Son of the Spirit. Feng Shao silently pondered. Chapter 28, Questioning Accountability. This day, Tewei sect welcomed a new arrival, an unexpected guest. At that time, King Yangzi, sitting upright in his training room. Meditation and practice, since accepting Feng Shao as the eldest disciple. Sect affairs, almost everything, all wrapped up by the wind whistle, even passing on skills and knowledge. It is all led by the wind's whistle. And King Yangzi and others. Zi Anxin sat comfortably in her room. Meditation and practice, practicing the ancestral martial arts passed down through generations. So, such days. For King Yangzi, It was truly an uneventful day, until a disciple came to his door. Report to King Yangzi. Someone claims to be Master's Shishu. Request to enter the mountain gate to meet the sect leader. Upon learning of this matter, King Yangzi was completely fierce. After thinking for a while, I finally remembered. I do indeed have such a master uncle. However, in King Yangzi's impression, this master uncle was early on, just leaving the mountain gate. Until now, it's been about 70 or 80 years, right? It's been so many years. This master uncle never returned to the mountain gate. There hasn't been any news coming through. It feels like the whole person is as if they had long vanished from the world. Today, it was still under the disciples' reminder. Just remembered. I also have a Shishu. Master Shushu suddenly returned to the mountain gate. What are you here for? King Yangzi didn't think much about it. Just call the disciple directly, in the lobby to welcome this Shishu. After King Yangzi, upon arriving at the hall, only a bearded man was seen, the ragged old man, in an extremely ungraceful posture, sitting on the chair, leisurely sipping wine. At first glance, King Yangzi didn't recognize each other. He won't be swayed by what the other person says. I am the martial uncle. He rushed over. Call him Shishu. We should confirm the identity first. But before he could wait, see the other person's appearance clearly. The old man slammed the table fiercely. He shouted at King Yangzi. Do you know the crime? King Yangzi. Where is that? Just ask me if I know my crimes. King Yangzi was furious, but he said calmly without showing any emotion. I am King Yangzi. May I ask your esteemed name, senior? The old man looked at King Yangzi for a while. Suddenly there was a loud noise. Ling Ziyo said with a sneer, King Yangzi, you've got some skills. Didn't even recognize the master uncle. Cho, my senior brother has really taken in a good disciple, King Yangzi said with neither humility nor arrogance. I indeed once had a Shishu master's uncle, but it has been many years since I lost track of them. Since you say I am your master's uncle, I wonder if there is any evidence. The old man had a gloomy expression. Speaking of certification, my face is the proof. Good for you, King Yangzi. Do you really think you've become the leader now? Then you can look down on the master uncle. King Yangzi almost wanted to curse on the street. What's the matter with this old man? You say, you are my Shishu, but you need to provide evidence. When Shishu left the Tewei sect back then, King Yangzi has only been in the sect for a few years, and usually focuses on cultivation. There is no connection with this senior apprentice, only during the festive seasons. We have only met a few times. The two sides had hardly met in person, reunited after 70 or 80 years. How could one recognize the other at a glance? This old man, it's just completely unreasonable. But considering that, the other party might really be my master's uncle. King Yangzi could only suppress the dissatisfaction in his heart. He said calmly, Senior, you may not be aware. When the master uncle left the mountain gate that year, I am still young. I don't have much impression of Shishu. You naturally refer to yourself as my master's uncle. Then please present the proof. Otherwise, we can only ask you to leave our sect. The old man smiled in anger, just about to speak. But then a voice was heard. Don't worry, Uncle Master. Jiangnen Shibo. After all, it has been many years since I last saw you. Can't recognize. You are also normal. Until this moment, King Yangzi just realized Yi Chen actually sat next to this old man. At this moment, Yi Chen, a picture of a loving father and a smiling son, respectful towards the old man, tone of voice, also very polite. Just he immediately referred to the old man as Shishuzu. This, however, made King Yang's eye, feeling a bit annoyed. You need to recognize yourself before making arbitrary decisions. Don't drag others into it. Before King Yangzi could speak, Yi Chen then said to King Yangzai, Janmen Shibo, this esteemed elder, indeed, it is the master uncle ancestor of our school. He once stood before his disciples. The untransmittable name of this school, if not a member of this sect. It's impossible to use. King Yangzi went in, but felt somewhat displeased, glimpsed at Yi Chen. This time he was dissatisfied with Yi Chen's reckless judgments, but dissatisfied with Yi Chen's attitude. As King Yangzi walked into the hall, Yi Chen did not get up to pay his respects, but with this old man, sitting together on the chair. Not only that, when starting to speak, he had no intention of bowing. It's just like being in front of him, not the sect leader's senior apprentice, but rather a peer-level friend. King Yangzi couldn't help but secretly store it away. Perhaps the issue lies in the etiquette and upbringing of the three disciples. It needs to be taken seriously now, just thinking about it. The old man suddenly slammed the table again. Chan King Yangzi. He when asked King Yangzi, I ask you, do you know the sin? Why aren't you answering? King Yangzi slightly frowned, asked with some displeasure, I do not know what crime I have committed. The old man let out a cold laugh. It is said that you have three charges. No argument in the middle. Indistinguishable right from wrong. Using public resources for personal gain. Relying on relatives for personal gain. This crime also constitutes neglect of duty. Shuai Su Kan. Waiting for the helm to disperse. Lack of ambition. This crime involves 20 people who are unclear. The debater is unknown. Let the numbers take power. This crime is threefold. Right. Now we need to add one more line. Disrespecting elders. This crime is 4. You said, you have committed these 4 great sins. Why don't you realize your wrongdoing yet? King Yangzi. This old man has issues, doesn't he? The old man came up. Present 4 charges, but except for the last one. It barely makes sense. Other 3. It's just inexplicable. I don't know where to begin. King Yangzi was pondering. Where exactly did the problem lie? A glimpse caught Yi Chen, unintentionally revealing a look of pride. I suddenly understood in my heart. This old man, could it be that Yi Chen? This kid must have been fooled. To be honest, although at the ceremony of the Holy Child's anointment, Yi Chen lost to Feng Shao, but King Yangzi, still about this disciple, highly valued. After all, Yi Chen for 5 years. Just reached the realm of innate perfection. It has been confirmed. He even thought to himself, if Yi Chen in the future can triumph over Feng Shao with dignity, then the position of the Holy Son, it's not impossible to consider replacing him. Even the marriage alliance with Yun Giant Ji, all can be transferred to him. But now I never expected. This Yi Chen does not know. Where did you find one? The mysterious old man. They came in fiercely and demanded an explanation. So in this matter, what role did Yi Chen actually play? What role does it play? Could it be this kid? Coveting the position of the Holy Son, but unable to attain it. Start from the opposite. You are coveting your own position as the sect leader, aren't you? Thinking of this, King Yangzi's eyes sparkled, said to the old man, please forgive my eyes. I really don't recognize the senior. Since the senior said, I am a disciple of the Grand Martial Clan, then it must be Do you hold the disciple token of this sect? Please show your disciple token, Senior. I would like to confirm your identity, Senior. King Yangzi called each one his disciple. It's just hinting at the other person. No matter if you are my senior uncle or not. Now I am the leader of the Teiwei sect, and you are at most just a disciple. What? Elder, please. The Grand Commandant Zong has been around for hundreds of years. No longer holds the position of elder, the two elders of the alchemy pavilion and the forge. It was still the wind that was pulled in from outside, and that senior apprentice, when leaving the Teiwei clan. Indeed, they are just an ordinary disciple. Token held, it is also a disciple token. But if he really takes out the disciple token. So, even if he proves his identity. However, King Yangzi had the upper hand in the situation. I have to say, King Yangzi said this. Just give it to that old man. A two-headed gamble has come. Old man Wen Yan. But their expression turned awkward. It's been so many years since I knew nothing about the way. It's just a token. Who else would wear it all the time? I have long forgotten. Where did it hide? King Yangzi felt a surge of joy, said with a beaming smile, since that's the case, then I can't confirm your identity, Senior. I am Tawei Song, although it's not a big deal. But you can't just casually treat someone as a senior in this field. Please forgive me, Senior, that old man Wan Yan. But it was anger out of shame. Good for you, King Yangzi. You dare not acknowledge your master in front of me. How did your master teach you? This door has a hierarchy of respect and status. Have you forgotten everything? King Yangzi replied calmly. The hierarchy of this sect is well defined. I always keep it in my heart. But the senior's identity is unknown. There is still no evidence. Can't prove his identity. I can only address you as senior. Old man, the main idea. You shouldn't have treated the token like it was just for drinks. Chapter 29, Heart Disease. When King Yangzi spoke with the old man, when trapped in a deadlock. In the end, it was Yi Chen who broke the deadlock. Only Yi Chenling said, Jiangmen Shibo, Shishu Zhu has a straightforward personality. Therefore, some words are not very pleasant to hear. But what the master uncle said, it is for the good of Emperor Teiwei. Jiangmen Shibo, I wonder if you have noticed. Now the people of the Eastern Jew, when mentioning Teiwei Zong, only know the holy son of Taiwai Zong, unaware that the Grand Master of Taiwai sect, Shishu Zhu, heard about this matter afterward. Heartbroken, finally rushed back to Teiwei clan. Please, Master Zhuanmen, for the sake of Master Uncle, for the sake of this sincere heart, don't be overly attached to those trivial formalities. King Yangzi Wenian slightly furrowed his brows. Actually, this old man, is he really my master's granduncle? King Yangzi's heart, although a bit of a mistake. But I expected. No one will be idle and bored, running over to impersonate a senior from a small sect to file a lawsuit. Ki Yuo Shuo, how much this person cares about Tai Weizong. That may not be the case. He really cares. The destiny and future of Tai Weizong shouldn't have demonstrated during the Teiwei sect's show of power. Leaving the sect, run out to be a carefree wanderer. Now, the great Weizong, escaping from the brink of expulsion, relying on the efforts of the disciples of the current Taiwai sect. With this missing Shishu for so many years, it has nothing to do with money. At this moment, he suddenly ran back. King Yangzi felt in his heart. Nature feels very uncomfortable. However, there is something Yi Chen said that hit the nail on the head. People of the Eastern Jew, nowadays, when mentioning Tai Weizong, only know Tai Weizong Shengzai. but unaware that the leader of Taizong. His title of leader sounds impressive, but actually, whether inside or outside, fame is no match for the whispers of the wind. Even more so, once it was said, if it weren't for Tai Waizong's good luck, I found this treasure, the wind whistle. I'm afraid that Tai Waizong is long gone, although there is some truth to this statement. But King Yangzi listened, just not feeling well, when the Teiwei sect was still demonstrating. He is single-minded. I just want to strengthen the sect. But unfortunately, my abilities are limited. Under his command, the recent situation of Tai Waizong, it's not better than before. Instead, each day is worse than the last. Until Feng Xiao entered the sect, Tai Waizong finally began to come back to life, became the Eastern Jew, a somewhat famous second-rate sect. However, after Tai Waizong gradually rose to prominence,